Kiefer. I'll give a quick background of myself and then kind of go into what I'm doing, why I'm here, and why I'm really excited to be actually on the stage right now. So I come from South Dakota. I'm the first in my family to go to college. Both my parents didn't graduate high school. No one in my school ever went to an Ivy League type school, and so I'm actually quite blessed, quite happy that I'm at Stanford University as an undergraduate right now, studying urban studies and social entrepreneurship and minoring in computer science. And so, kind of for myself, I come from a low-income background. I'm really attached to a specific cause, poverty alleviation, and really, my belief is that it takes kind of business to solve poverty. You know, the number one movement, I think, in terms of alleviating poverty in the past 15 years has been the development of China and India, and specifically entering into the global marketplace. And so, if I had to state my life's mission, it's to bring 3 billion consumers into the global market, which is essentially ending poverty. And so in order to kind of get involved with that, I feel that students are the people who are most receptive to change, who are most interested in passionate causes, and who can become inspired to actually take on something like poverty alleviation with entrepreneurship. And so the organization I'm involved with is called Gumball Capital. What we do is we give student teams $27, 27 gumballs, and we just kind of do whatever. In general, yes, it's quite fun. The students do everything from bake sales to mini carnivals. They auction off their dates for our age. It's really, really fun. It's very simple. And when it comes to entrepreneurship, people who aren't traditionally getting involved, aren't traditionally passionate about it, there's 3 things that they believe. You have to have a brilliant idea, you have to have a perfect plan, and you absolutely cannot fail. And usually the first entrance into entrepreneurship is a 50-page business plan competition, which 9 times out of 10, well, for almost everyone, you don't win. And so what we're trying to do is create a really, really low barrier to entry to kind of learn the entrepreneurial process for a cause you care about. And then as they get into it, they get really excited about, well, our bake sale didn't work yesterday, but we're trying something different, and iterating through. And so what we've learned is that the students on average turn $27 into just over $100. The most that's been raised by any one team is $1,250. Yes, exciting. And what they did is they just did the entrepreneurial process. And so we've gone from 12 schools last year to 50 schools this year, and since almost all of you are involved in entrepreneurship education in some way, if you're interested in running a program, if you're interested in getting more students interested in entrepreneurship, please talk to me, email me. I would love for you guys to run the Gumball Challenge at your university to expand within your chapters and programs. And so, a bit of a shameless plug, but I feel that it is absolutely the best way to get students to kind of think about entrepreneurship, because it's low barrier to entry, very low risk, and it just kind of gets them excited about something that they really care about, and doing something that actually could scale.
I made them go faster than they were supposed to so that you guys would have some time with them. But first of all, let's tell them that they are awesome! Okay, you heard a lot of good stuff here. Going in the order that they spoke. Don't get bogged down in analysis paralysis. Think simple services instead of tech all the time. Create a culture of entrepreneurship as a means of solving problems. Give them experts and resources and set them loose. Think momentum, mentor, mates. There's a difference between tactical and inspirational. Think tactical and integrate social mission, and also create low barriers to entry. So you can go home now, basically. No, not yet. There's still so I'm going to start by asking a couple of questions, then we're going to go straight to you. I would like each of these people to tell us 1 or 2 very specific things that they wish someone had taught them before they started their companies. You want to start, Ryan?
Absolutely. Number 1 thing I wish someone would have told me 8, 9, 10 years ago is that in order to build a $100 million business, it takes 10 years. And in order to get a business to $1 million in sales, it's not 6 months, it's 3, 4, 5 years. And that first $100,000 of revenue is the hardest revenue. And once you get there, you can systematize, process, find out what works, and scale.
Perfect.
I think I would say that if I had found out that you cannot raise money as a, you should not base your business, I should say, based on investment dollars. It simply is an impractical solution. It's something that makes no sense whatsoever, and it takes your time, which is the most important asset you actually have, and it wastes it on a practice that, frankly, 99.9% of the time will be a fruitless endeavor. So I would engage all of your students to make sure they realize that when they give you this 95-page business plan that tells you that if they just get 1% of this global market that exists, that they're going to be billionaires by the time they're 27, you can kindly take them with that business plan, use it for the only thing it's good for, hit them over the head, and call it a day.
So I think every college student feels the need to have the most ridiculous breakthrough idea. It's always about this really cool, new, and innovative idea. And if someone just sat there and told me it's not the best idea, doesn't win because it's the best idea. I mean, it's hindsight, it's obvious, but it's all about execution. It's about understanding there's so many conflicting interests that you got to take a step back and say it doesn't matter how damn great your idea is unless you know the landscape and you know how to play that and position it the right way. So I think that's something that I wish every entrepreneur knew, and I wish I knew that.
I would say two things. First, I would love to learn more about all the different ways of making money, just business models in general, because I'm really good at making things happen, but I wasn't necessarily sure how to monetize what I was doing. And then the second thing is, I wish I was told, just be careful how much momentum you can create, because if you create too much momentum and you don't have a team behind you, bad things happen.
I think one of the most important things for new entrepreneurs is to learn to sell. A lot of new entrepreneurs spend too much time thinking about their idea, and they don't actually go and talk to people. And you don't even need a product to get customers. So.
I'm not a lawyer, but don't incorporate in California. And the second one, put your co-founders on the vesting schedules.
So just reiterating, get started right away, hustle, just do something, because I think you need to have kind of the entrepreneurial mindset and the understanding of how kind of that process is supposed to work, just at a personality level before you can really figure out how do I build a $100 million company or anything like that. And so kind of planting that kernel and just actually doing stuff first is more important, and then all of this advice follows and makes a lot of sense.
Okay. Cool. So the second thing I want to ask you is to talk a little bit about your own personal vision of the future of entrepreneurship education. Imagine for a moment, I know this is extremely difficult, that you're my age, and you and you have children going to college, as I do. Yeah. You were born 40 years old. What are you talking about? Sorry, I had to get it in. And your kids are going to school and they're studying entrepreneurship. What does it look like? What does entrepreneurship look like for your kids?
So I have a vision in which entrepreneurship education is required in every high school in America. And I've got a vision in which personal financial literacy education is required in every high school in America in order to get your high school degree.
Perhaps a little bit of a shameless plug-in with the YC, but again, with what we're trying to do, I believe that peer-to-peer education is going to play a vital role in continuing a tradition and taking the information as an example that you just learned up here and finding ways to systemize that so that every one of your students anywhere in the world can have access to this level of education, the stuff that you don't necessarily learn in the books. And so I think we're going to be in a world where all the borders are gone. The web is, I just had a baby girl 4 months ago and I just realized she's never going to not know what an iPad is. That blows my mind. And the thought of being able to remove all those borders, credit this level of education through an academia institution and allow us to have a role in the building of these youths, I think you're going to see game changers come out of that level of education.
I actually don't know the exact answer to this question, Donna, but I would say that there's one thing I'd love for people to get out of the classroom. I am one of these people that has the hardest time sitting in classes as it is. And so if I could have the whole culture at every university, which was, if you try something and you go out there and, again, hands-on experience, that counts as credit, I would love it. I would love to go to university where the more I tried and failed and tried and succeeded, the more they patted me on the back.
4.0, baby.
Yeah, 4.0. Showing up for class, not so much.
I think that one of the biggest skill sets that entrepreneurs have is an ability to navigate ambiguity. And so I think that the future of entrepreneurship education is really going to start embracing the fact that we do have so many resources at our fingertips. Instead of writing a business plan from scratch or a marketing plan or pro formas, you can go online, do a file type search with the XLS or a PDF, or go to Scribd or DocStock. Find business plans that are essentially doing exactly what you're trying to do, or are similar, and just start taking the best of the ideas and incorporating them in. There's no reason to reinvent the wheel every time. And so I think that that's going to start accelerating entrepreneurship. And then the other thing I think is that I see there being just a lot more experiential learning. One of the things that we're doing in Midland right now is making it easier for young people to put on events in areas that they're interested. And so the entire event planning process is cultivating entrepreneurial thinking. You have to think holistically, you have to be aware of where the resources exist, you have to know how to go get media, you have to figure out how you're going to finance it. And that's a very small experiment, but the entire process, even though we're not saying, hey, this is entrepreneurial education, it's entrepreneurial education. So just in general, I think that more of an educator role is trying to figure out how do you set up those systems to facilitate entrepreneurship being learned, but not necessarily specifically articulated as here is the theory behind it.
I want to see schools implementing more, less business plan competitions where you're not actually launching a business, more short, intense, low commitment events where students get the opportunity to work with a lot of different, more of their peers, different times, more gumball challenges, more lean startup machines, and more hackathons.
So let me preface this by saying I'm not looking for a kid anytime soon, so when I do. When I went to...
Sorry, ladies.
Down to girlfriends, it's not good. When I was going to Cal Poly, and I was interested in entrepreneurship, and I was trying to start a bunch of little things. There was literally 4 people who I knew who was also interested in the same thing. And one guy graduated, so basically 3 of us. We hung out all the time, but it was 3 of us, and that was it. One of the biggest things, I moved to to Silicon Valley in June 2009, and you go to, there's a strip called University Ave, and there's a whole bunch of coffee shops. If you go into a coffee shop, literally every single person in the coffee shop is probably working on a startup. They all have their laptops up and they're coding and doing stuff. And you're just in there and you're just like, you can't get away from it. It's like you kind of have to be entrepreneurial. It's like everybody else is doing stuff, like you kind of feel weird if you're not doing stuff yourself. So I really hope that in 20 years' time, kind of like what we're doing at Techstars and Startup Digest and all this stuff, that the density of entrepreneurship is higher. So when you get into a room with people like this, you really can't think about something else. You really have to go out and start something. So that's what I hope.
For me, it's twofold. The first thing is changing the paradigm so that students can create businesses that solve really hard social problems, homelessness, poverty, you name it. There's a solution, an entrepreneurial solution for it, and everyone kind of understands that and can do that. The second thing is kind of twisting it a little bit, and that the absolute worst off person in the world, just imagine that person has the opportunity to become an entrepreneur. That's the kind of thing that I want to see with entrepreneurship education set happening.
All right, excellent.